Hey folks, welcome back to Failure at Retirement. So today I wanted to talk about a rule um, that applies to when your wife retires before you. This is solid, hard-won advice, guys, that I had to figure out the hard way on my own. It's a known fact I'm not the brightest. It took me a while to figure this out, but here it is. The one probably most important rule to remember if you retire before your wife: when she leaves for work in the morning and you're sitting in your chair, that's kind of okay. But for 100% sure fact, when she gets home from work, make sure you're not still sitting in the same place. Definitely make sure you're not still wearing your jammies. That is bad, bad, bad. That's a bad deal. It don't take very many days in a row of that, and she gets on to the fact that she's working a lot harder than you. This is bad news. I'm telling you folks right now, bad news. Horrible. So my strategy here that I came up with, yeah, I would normally be sitting in my chair when she left for work, but I try to be maybe putting my shoes on or something to, at least give the impression I'm going to amount to something today. But what I would do then is, it don't matter. Honestly, it don't matter what you do the rest of the day. She don't really care. Just do not be anywhere near that chair when she comes home from work. So you know roughly what time she's going to get home from work. So you just want to strategize, fellas. Like strategize so that you're not in that same location still in your jammies when she gets home. So lots of times, what I would do, and she knows this now, it's not going to be a surprise to her. I would just, you know, maybe I had something to do for the day, maybe it didn't, especially if it was a rainy winter day or something. But lots of times, I'd make sure I was in my shop when she got home, or maybe strategically be walking from the shop to the house. I could kind of hear her car coming down the gravel road for a little bit. So this is where the shop recliner comes into play. I may not have quite honestly done a thing the whole day, right? But I know, maybe an hour before she gets off work, or maybe around the time she gets off work, go out to the shop, relocate to that recliner, sit in that recliner, and, watch the YouTube or whatever you're going to do. Maybe you do a little project out in the shop, whatever. But around the time she's due home, you make sure you're busy. And when you hear the car pull in, then head for the house. It made Failure's life so much smoother, guys. Like, I can't even tell you. She was getting over having a kept man. And so that's another little kind of factoid. The kept man jokes amongst my friends were pretty popular. I'm not gonna lie, and I thought they were funny too. I never really expect to be a kept man my whole life, and so my friends just jumped on that, made all sorts of jokes about that, and they were funny. They made us all laugh, right? Mrs. Failure, not so much of a fan of these jokes. So keep that in mind too. Those are kind of my top two rules of thumb. For the most part, as long as you're not bragging too much about how much fun you're having, at least with Mrs. Failure, she's pretty flexible. So just, don't be bragging about your fun. Make sure that you time it to get home, quote unquote, get home after her. And don't make too many jokes about her working and you not. These things, they all end poorly. I can assure you of that. It's not good. It's not good, fellas. So the other thing I want to talk about today is when she did decide to retire, This was about a year and a half ago. All of a sudden, the light bulb goes on in Failure's mind. Like, Failure spent like 5 years or more basically running amok, just running around doing random stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of like way too much work mixed in there. That's for a fact. Hence failure at retirement. But all of a sudden I realized she said, yeah, like September 1st or whatever it was, I'm done. And the light bulb goes on. It's going to take her about 2 days to catch on to my game. Like this whole time, she's been thinking that I'm working a lot harder than I honestly have been. So she's going to be on to my game. And my days of running amok are ending rapidly. I'm getting on the phone to my friends. I'm telling them, what am I going to do? She's going to figure out my deal here. I'm in trouble, guys. Like, throw me a line. Of course, they just think this is hilarious, right? They've seen this day coming for a while. So anyway, that was just funny stuff that happened to Old Failure surrounding the wife retiring after him. And, I figured out it's not that hard. Another flying beast, shocker. Not that hard to, have a good game, make it look like you're doing a lot of stuff. And, certain times of the year, summer, guys still farming a little. Yeah, guys got some legitimate work to do and sometimes comes home at 10 o'clock at night or whatever. But then in the winter, there's a lot of times a guy got almost nothing to do. But it's important to make sure to keep up appearances, if you know what I mean. Anyway, this is just a quick hit today. I thought I'd maybe try to help a few fellas out. I suppose the same kind of might apply in reverse for you ladies who retire before your husband, maybe. I don't know. I doubt if you're going to go in the shop and sit in your shop recliner. But this is what worked for Failure. And, if I can help somebody else out, I'm happy to do it. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time on Failure at Retirement.